This is the lock mechanism, door latch and lock mechanism for the door on my 1970 Airstream Caravel. And I was having a problem where I couldn't get the door to unlock. It was stuck shut, and I would really have to jimmy the key around in the lock and kind of find the perfect position before the door would unlock. So it worried me, not just in case somebody else needed to use it who didn't know how to jimmy it, but also just in the long term, if it got worse, I may not ever be able to unlock that door. So I took the door apart, I pulled this mechanism out to kind of see if I could figure out the problem. And I first had to figure out how it worked. So I've got that down. You can see the key in the lock mechanism here turns this little cylinder. When the cylinder rotates, there's this little nub on the cylinder, and it engages the slot in this pin, and it pushes this pin up. And when the pin moves up, it allows, you can see it fell back down there, and that's part of my problem. But when the pin moves up, it allows this latch to be depressed, and that will allow the door to open. But as you can see, the problem is if the latch is open like this, and then you can't remove the key in this configuration. You have to keep going with the key all the way to this position to be able to unlock it. But if I do that, that pin falls back down, and it's locked, and I can't unlock it. So the only way to get the door to stay unlocked is to rotate the key in just the right position and keep it there. Leave the key in the door. And even then, I found that because there's enough play in this mechanism, if the key isn't held exactly right, it wouldn't unlock. In other words, if the key is in a position like this, even though it's rotated the right direction, it still won't unlock. It has to be exactly right to get the latch to open. So I was thinking about solutions for this, and my first thought was, why don't I just put some really tacky grease on this pin to kind of hold it in position? But in addition to not really being a long-term solution, I think the problem is the key still may not necessarily put this pin in the right exact location to open the door. So my next thought was, well, how could I hold this pin in the up position when the key rotates it up? So fortunately, this is, I don't know, Zamak, some kind of pot metal. It's not magnetic, but the pin is. So I have a little bitty magnet here, and my plan is to put that magnet on top of here and, glue or screw or somehow clamp it in place so that when I rotate the lock mechanism up, it sucks that little pin up toward the top, which will allow this to unlock, right? So here we go. I can depress the latch mechanism here with my thumb. But if I rotate it back the other direction, it pulls that pin just far enough away from the magnet that the attraction is lost, and it stays in the down position. So now this is locked. And the only way to get it back up is to rotate. Well, I can pull the key out for one thing, which is a benefit. But now if I want to rotate it back up, watch what happens to that little pin. It gets sucked up against that magnet, which keeps it in the up position so that I can fully rotate the key and take the key out, and the lock mechanism's open. When I want to lock it, stick the key back in, rotate it down, and it pulls the pin away, disengages it from the magnet. Now I can take it out, and it's locked. So that's my solution. Thanks for watching.